The Gallagher Shots podcast is sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome back to the Gallagher Shots podcast. We're here for the Arsenal at home preview. It's myself, Nichol, and I'm joined with Ben. How are we doing, Ben?
Not too bad. Happy after the 4-1 yesterday, so I'm in good spirits. Nice to see we score four goals at home. It's nice to see we score a few goals, to be fair. So yeah, no, I'm positive. Yourself?
Yes, feeling good. Better about the game after yesterday's win. We're talking here on Thursday after Wednesday's Carabao Cup win. But yeah, good for the lads to get some goals last night. And yeah, we move on to the Arsenal game. So the game's on Sunday, the 28th September at 4:30. For those of you who haven't got a ticket for the game, it's on Sky Sports in the UK. Arsenal are currently doing pretty well. They're second in the league. They've won 3 games, drawn 1 and lost 1. Newcastle are currently 13th in the league, 1 win, 3 draws, as we know, and 1 defeat to Liverpool. The last time that we played Arsenal, we lost, unfortunately, 1-0 away. Declan Rice scored towards the back end of last season. I think it was the last away game last year. I was there.
Yeah.
And then in the home fixture in the Premier League, that Swedish striker scored a great header, and we won 1-0. And as we all definitely remember, we won 2-0 home and away in the Carabao Cup against Arsenal last season. So yeah, we've got a pretty good record against them. The last 5, we've won 3, no draws, and they've won 2. So Ben, we're definitely looking at surely at one team winning this game. What do you think?
Yes, us hopefully. I think this is a massive game for both sides, like a really, really big game. We've had an okay start. I think it becomes a decent start if you win the game on Sunday. I think for Arsenal, it's the same. Like, they're under a load of pressure now. What, they're 5 points behind Liverpool already? They could be coming into that game on Sunday 8 points behind. And after a few games, they'll not be wanting that. As Arteta came into the season under a lot of pressure. They've got an awful record against us. I think we're definitely in his head. I think it's one of those games that he doesn't look forward to coming up here. Everybody seems to be up for it when we play them as well. Players and fans alike. So I'm looking forward to Sunday, but these are a good side as well. Feel a bit better after last night. Obviously, seeing we play on the front foot, and obviously we've got 4 goals, but that was against Bradford. I think we need to win the game on Sunday. You know, if you go into the game, 1 win and 6 after Sunday, then that's not the best of starts. Equally, if you win the game, you're probably there or thereabouts the Champions League places. I know it's only early doors, but I feel like our season needs a win against Arsenal to take off.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a rivalry sort of came about between ourselves and Arsenal. I think, you know, Arteta doesn't help himself at times with it must be the ball chance. They were brilliant last season. We obviously had their number last year, but I mean, they have made a good start to the season, and obviously Liverpool are 5 points ahead, but Liverpool have been quite jammy this season with late goals. So Arsenal did get that point last Sunday against Man City with a late goal from Martinelli, and they won in the Carabao Cup the same as us. They beat Port Vale 2-0. Eze and Trossard scored, so Eze is off the mark for them. What do you think of Arsenal this season, Ben? Obviously, they're a very good team, but how do you think their title chances are?
I thought the start of the season, and I still think they're going to be right up there. It's interesting when you watch them and you speak to their fans as well. They've got everything you would expect to potentially go on and win the league. You know, they signed Gyökeres, which meant to be the striker that pushes them over the line. The defence looks excellent. They've signed Hincap as well, who's come in. You know, they've got really solid fullbacks. Probably the best partnership centre-half wise maybe in Europe, to be honest. They've got all the components. They've got Zubimendi in as well. You know, they've got Eze. Madueke's come in. He's come in. He's done really well, but he's not playing in this game. They've got Saka. They've got top players all over the park. I wouldn't look at them and think, on paper, they've really got a weakness. Apart from mentality-wise, they've become a bit of a set play team. Like, playing teams in open play, they're not scoring many goals, they're not free-flowing. They're very workmanlike in some ways. And you watch them and you think, the players that they've got, they probably shouldn't be that. Because they've got quality. Like, you mentioned Eze before. Like, I think Eze is class.
He's a great player,
yeah. Different classes, a proper baller. Not sure about Gokaresh, but yeah, I do feel like, I think the question is with our Arsenal, they've got all the tools. Arteta's got everything he's wanted. He's got the striker, he's got the holding midfielder to help him play through the lines. Now it's whether he's the blockage. The pressure's massively on the season. If they don't win the season, and if they don't really win the league for me this season, I think you can seriously look at Arsenal and think, well, Arteta's the problem, really, because the rest of the team's different class.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been sort of slated a little bit in the mainstream media this week because against Man City last week they got that late goal, which is obviously really good. But I think the way that they like celebrated that, and it was like, you haven't won the game, it's just a point. And I personally don't see them winning the league this season, just because I think Liverpool are not playing very well and they're still getting results, no matter how annoying that might be for other fans. They're not playing that well, but they've got a good team, Liverpool, and they're still sort of getting the results. Whereas Arsenal are sort of, they're already 5 points behind. So yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, they're gonna be without a few players on Sunday. So you've already mentioned Madueke. He's going to be out for, I think it's a few months actually, which is a big blow for them.
Yeah,
but Saka's come back. He played in the Carabao Cup this week. Martinelli has obviously scored that goal last week, so he's probably going to come in. They've got Trossard maybe as well, who could come in there, or they've got the young Ethan Nwaneri. Yeah, he's a good player as well. Yeah,
they have. They've got loads of good players. It's interesting one actually in the Saka one. I was watching the bit of the Ballon d'Or ceremony the other day, and he was there. And he was like hobbling down the walkway, and I was thinking, is he crocked? And then he played the other day, and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on there? Interesting fact, a lot of people might know, actually, Saka's dad was a Newcastle fan, I'm led to believe. So I'm sure he said that he's been in away ends when he was a young'un. So if you ever fancy home and signing back for us, he'd be more than welcome. But I don't know, just on your point, actually, I don't know about you, question for you. I was talking about Liverpool or Arsenal as the two teams. I don't know what set fans are probably dislike to win the league again, to be fair, because Arsenal fans I find absolutely unbearable as well. Sorry if anyone listens to it, but if
this finds its way to some Arsenal fans' algorithms, we're sorry, because we're probably slagging you off here. But I don't know. It would be quite nice to see a new team win the league. Obviously, Liverpool won last year. It might be nice to see a new team. Man City have won it quite a lot, so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for me if Arsenal won the league. But yeah, obviously people have got different opinions. One player that I did want to highlight, who's probably making his return to St James's, is Mikel Merino in the middle. He'll probably play alongside Rice, unless they play Zubamendi, but he played in the Carabao Cup, so not sure. But obviously, just chat about Merino for a minute. He was a good player for us as well, wasn't he?
I used to really like Mikel Merino. I was a bit gutted when he left. It was a weird one because when Rafa was here, he started off really well. I think he scored that header, maybe it was against Palace. Could be wrong.
Yes, he did, yeah.
And I thought he was a class act. But then he came in with that clause, and then Rafa didn't play him. He started playing Shelby ahead of him, and he got a bit paid off, and then ended up leaving. And he's had a cracking career since he left. I think he gets a bit of grief for Arsenal from some quarters, but actually I think he's a really good player. I think the weird thing with their midfield is because there's no Odegaard as well. Odegaard, I believe,
Odegaard's not playing yet. Jesus is out, and Kai Havertz, who Dan Burn will be gutted about because they're best mates. So
he loves Kai Havertz. I think the thing is, you look at that midfield though; they're all really similar. Like great players. Mikel Merino is a great player, and I think he gets a bit of grief at Arsenal because people think he's something that he's not. Like him, Declan Rice, and Zubamendi all can play as a number 6. I'm not saying Rice or him are not necessarily number 6s, but they've played there before. Quite physical. Like Mourinho's physical. He's a big lad. He's got a great left foot. Probably not the fastest around the pitch, to be fair. I think where we've beat these the last few years has been in the middle of the park. Partly, I think we've dominated that, and hence why their fans absolutely detest Joe Linton because it's a physical battle, and they bully teams quite often, and they can't bully us when they play against us. And we've just done everything a little bit better in the middle of the park. And I don't know, it'd be really interesting, like Zupermendi against Joe Linton and Bruno going up against, like, it's just it's a
Rice,
match story, like all through there, and it's not like it just matches up really well. I don't know, he's a good footballer. He can hurt you. He can get the odd goal as well from set plays. He's another massive player. You look at the size of their team; they're huge. The one team.
So are we. So we're all right.
Yeah.
We're all right.
No, we are. Yeah, exactly. Be a test for set piece coach on Sunday. Chance to redeem yourself, I think.
Well, it's a nice little segue for us to stop talking about Arsenal for a little bit. We've obviously covered them at the start there. So if we go over to Newcastle, we've obviously played on Wednesday night. We've had a busy week of 3 games there, if you include Wolves and Barcelona. So how do you think we'll line up on Sunday? Because I think there'll be a lot of changes from Wednesday night, obviously, but it's difficult to predict and what formation and everything. So
it is. I think it is. I think I said this in our group earlier on. I think it's great that we've got so many questions over the team, and they're not negative questions. I think we'd probably all like this to be one of those dilemmas we've got, and I suppose you've got to suit them in some ways now. For me personally, I'll go with what I would do, and I'd say what I think Hal will do. Pope's got a starting goal. I think Nick Pope's been brilliant this season. I know his distribution's not great, but he's been different class. He's been Nick Pope when we first signed him so far. I think he's been excellent.
Yeah, and I just before we move on the goalkeeper, I just want to say in Wednesday's game, I think Ramsdale would have had so many more touches than Nick Pope did in like 3 games combined, just because they were giving him the ball loads. Because he's so much more. It was nice to see that, because I think the back line that played on Wednesday is going to be our back line for quite a in the years to come. Once sort of Burn and Shaw move on, which they eventually will soon. Yeah,
that's a fair point, and he is a lot. Look, there's no getting away from it. Ramsdale's a lot better on the ball than Nick Pope.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't say a great deal, to be fair, but he is. He's a lot more comfortable in possession. I still think a lot of our fans, though, have been a bit harsh on Pope. Like,
I think Pope's a better shot stopper, so I would have him in, yes.
In this season, we've been defensively brilliant. He's kept clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet. He's been excellent this year, and he's commanded his area. So for me, it's not even in doubt. Like, Nick Pope's got a starting goal.
Yeah,
then so the rest of the position is probably where it is. Like, left back for me personally, I don't think Eddie will do this, but for me, Lewis Hall would be a shoe-in at left back. Tino's brilliant at left back, don't get us wrong, but Tino will be right back for me. I think Trips has been poor is probably a harsh word. I don't think he's been up to his levels that he has been, but he's 35 now. I think he was 35 like this week just gone. Like it's, I don't know, it would be Hall for me. The one I've probably biggest dilemma would be, who would you play, Botman or do you play Burn? I think you would down.
It'll be Dan. I mean, if we're talking about what we want and what Eddie Howe wants, it'll be Dan Burn. Howe will put him back in 100%.
Yeah, it has to be, doesn't it?
I don't think that's a And then it's for me, it's the other one that's a dilemma, because obviously Shah's missing this one with concussion. Still, it's whether it's Chow or Botman. So I don't. Or does he play a 5? He might do a 5.
I hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't play a 5. I don't know what you feel like, but look, if you look at our performances this year, we've played well. Liverpool did well. Like, we're very lucky to lose the game. Villa, I was down there with yourself. You were down at Villa Park. Like, we dominated the game. Thought we played well against Barcelona, and we beat Wolves. Maybe it wasn't vintage Newcastle, but I take positives out of all those games. Leeds, I thought, were dire. If you go back last season against Everton, last game of the season, were really poor. And Bournemouth, I wouldn't say we're poor, but I don't think we could probably still play now, and we wouldn't look like we're going to score a goal. And the thing with all those 3 games is we played 5 at the back. Now, defensively, we look great, but we're at home. For me, you've got to play on the front foot, and you've got to win that midfield battle. I think if we go 2 in the middle against their 3, I think we'll be asking for trouble. And I can see the points of why you would do that, because you've got 3 big centre-halves in. It helps you a little bit on set plays. You might just get lucky and eke a goal out, but we're at home. We're a Champions League team. I think you've got to play 4 at the back for me. I think it'll be Malik Thiaw, because he's right on the right side. I think it'll be Burn. He wasn't in the squad, so he's definitely going to start. And it'll be Malik Thiaw. And then I think you'll see on the European game on Wednesday, you'll see it'll revert. Probably Shaw might come back in and play alongside Botman.
Yeah,
But
if he's fit to come back, I don't know how long the concussion thing lasts for.
I think I read somewhere that it was 2 games. Like the game last night, he's got more than he's. But then it's whether he's allowed. I don't think you can train as well, so it's whether Howe would then put him straight back in, like with a training session, and go straight back in the team.
I don't know. I think he's probably reluctant to do that with players who aren't. If it was Chow or Botman who are sort of coming into the team, but I think with Shea, I mean, he's been there for the whole of the Eddie Howe era, and he's a reliable player, so I think he wouldn't have an issue putting him back in. But yeah, I actually think we're going to see Tino at left back and Trippier at right back on Saturday. I think he just trusts Trippier in games like this, but I definitely agree that it needs to be 4 at the back, because we've said that we're best against Arsenal when we have a go at them. And
would you play Trippier?
Yeah, at the minute, yes, but just because Lewis Hall's just coming back and he's played I don't know how many minutes he played at Bournemouth. I don't think he played the whole game, but he played most of it, didn't he? So 60 or 70 minutes he would have played at Bournemouth, and then he played the full 90 against Bradford. So I would bring Trippier back in just on this week, but in general, in moving forward, I would have Lewis Hall and Tino moving forward. Yeah, but so it's already we're talking about differences in the back line. So surely we're going to agree on the midfield 3. I don't think that's a debate.
As long as we play 3, it has to be. It's a no-brainer for the 3. Obviously, Joelinton, Tonali, and Bruno, which I think it's a big game. Like for that's what wins you the game, especially. It was important. Joey scored. I think it was the first time in 9 months that he scored yesterday, and we need more goals from him. We need more goals from that midfield to help everybody else, to be fair.
Yeah, 2 good assists from Bruno as well. I thought he was a little bit sloppy on the ball at times against Bradford, but obviously he got two assists and then showed his class, and somehow didn't score at the Gallagher end in the second half. I don't know how he didn't score. Like
that looked like a really good flick. I haven't seen the replay back, but it looked tremendous from where I was.
I just don't know how he hasn't. No, the one where he's 1-on-1 and he just puts it straight.
No, that didn't look tremendous. That was awful.
Yeah, I don't know how he's missed that, but he was good in the second half. And I loved his long sleeves. A lot of the players had long sleeves on last night. It looked lush. It looked absolutely lush.
I do like a long sleeve one, to be fair.
Yeah, it looks really nice. And then just moving forward to the rest of the lineup, the front 3 is probably where we're going to have some debate here about who's going to play on the wings and whatnot, because I thought Gordon looked sharper than usual last night against Bradford, but still not up to the levels that we'd expect. I thought Alanga was all right as well. I mean, we won't see Osula in this game, but I thought he did quite well. And maybe some could argue he's found his level, but we'll not get into that. But yeah, what do you think about on the wings?
I think the only caveat I'd put on, because I think if everybody's fit, so I'm going to say if everybody's fit, I think it's nailed on that it'll be Jacob Murphy and Anthony Gordon out wide. The only caveat I say is that he said last week that Murphy was struggling a little bit with an Achilles injury, and he wasn't on the bench yesterday.
No, he was just watching in the stands because he was in the group picture at the end.
Yeah, so it just makes us wonder if there's any little niggle there. If everybody's fit, I think you've got to play Murphy because he's probably been our most creative player this season, and I think everybody came into the season he's one of those players. He's one of those legacy players at Newcastle that a lot of our fan base loves to hate, and regardless of how well he does, people don't like him. But he was outstanding last year. He was different class. And to be fair, if you look at him this year when he's played, his stats more than match up. He obviously got an assist for Walter Marta's first goal. He came on against Barca. He got an assist then.
Yeah.
Bournemouth last week, he looked most likely to create something. And even that Leeds game, again, he's probably the most threatening player. So you've got to start him. He deserves his place. He's earned this. And Alanga's not been as bad as people are saying at the moment for me. I think he's been a bit unlucky that people haven't taken the chances he's put on a plate. But he looks like he links up well with Walter Marta. I think if you spoke to him and said, who do you want to play with either side here, I'm pretty sure you would say Murphy, because the two of them seem like they've got a bit of a thing going as well, which is great. And I think Anthony Gordon's been a massive, massive miss. I know what you're saying. yesterday, I mean, he should have scored yesterday. He's another one that missed an absolute sitter. But
and he was a bit rusty against Barcelona. He missed that massive chance where he just air shot, So yeah, I think he's just coming back in, isn't he? So
you do with that pace, though. I think he'll drive up the pitch, and I think we've massively lacked that. I think his pace and his directness. I mean, Harvey Barnes, probably by his own admission, hasn't had the best of start to the season. Again, another one who missed a couple of chances when he came on yesterday. But he's not the kind of player that's direct and gets you up the pitch. It's all about looking for 1-2 and shot, basically. I think Voldemort is not going to run beyond Saliba and Gabriel. We're going to need somebody that's going to go beyond them. And Gordon's our player for me. I think we've really missed that directness and pushing teams back. And Arsenal aren't going to just sit on the edge of the box tomorrow. So there will be space in behind. So, I think Gordon has got a big, big part to play. I think he's nailed on that he definitely starts. And then I think Walter Mardie definitely starts up front with him. I hope we play his strengths. I think we've seen, it's a bit of a mixed bag when you listen to people review-wise. I personally think he's done quite well. I just think he's very, very different from any striker I can remember up there, if I'm being honest. I don't know how you feel about him, how you think he's done so far. Or...
Yeah. I think Mark said it on Monday's All Smile and Faces podcast that we're just like in a transition period and getting used to playing with a different striker up front, and it's going to take time for players to get used to him, and for fans as well to get used to how he plays, because people are going to want him to. They're going to see him and assuming he's just a massive target man, get him in the box, but he's definitely not one of those. I think obviously he scored that nice header against Wolves, but he's not going to be, Rondon. He's going to be hopefully he's going to be a mixture of like Rondon and I don't know who comes short, like Wissa, someone who can do a bit of both. But he's obviously really good with his feet, and we saw that in the games he's played so far. So I think most fans are optimistic about him, and we kind of have to be because he's our only option really at the moment. So, but yeah, just so you definitely don't think we're going to do this false nine rubbish on Sunday? Definitely not.
Not if he didn't play. If he was going to do that, you would think Voldemort would have started against Bradford, and he didn't. So. And I think it will kill the kid a little bit if you don't play him. So I think he definitely starts. Do you know who reminds me of like 6'6"? He's not much saying he's going to be as good as this player, but we're playing against Arsenal. He's a bit Bergkamp-esque, like the way he plays. Like I think if you put Dennis Bergkamp up on his own, you always think of Bergkamp.
That's how he would play. Yeah.
Like you think of Bergkamp, and Anelka, Bergkamp and Ian Wright, like that player. And I think Walter Mardy would be ideally suited to that, like playing off Visser, like that would be the ideal thing. But we don't play that way, so I think he's going to have to make a bit of an adjustment, and we are. His first touch looks excellent, like he's class on the ball. I just think sometimes you look up and you're like, I don't know. For me, a sign of a good striker is sometimes the amount of chances he gets into. The only little bit of a concern at the moment is I can't really remember him missing an easy chance. As daft as that sounds. He's not really getting into the chances. Well, that's because he's not getting the service from us, or whether he's just not that kind of player. I'm not quite sure just yet.
Yeah. I think he's a bit like, I don't know. I think obviously the striker in the world who does what he does the best, which is like, coming short and going into midfield, but also scoring a load of goals, is Harry Kane. Like he does that the best, but he still gets in the box and scores for, he's scoring so many at Bayern and loads for England as well, obviously. So, if we just needed to do that, basically, we just need to do
nice. Yeah, that would be brilliant.
But yeah, I definitely agree with you about Jacob Murphy. I think he'll start on the wing. I don't think Barnes has taken his chance this season at all. I think Gordon getting suspended was his chance, and I think he's kind of lost that moment. So yeah, I think it'll be Gordon or Elanga. I'll be happy with either of them. I think both of them can have a go at their fullbacks. I mean, their fullbacks are probably going to be Timber and Calafiori. So. I mean, yeah, that would be a good battle as well. Them four. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
When we look at their team, there's not really a weakness, and there's not like you look at the back four. I mean, they play effectively with four centre halves, and they play them inverted, don't they? So it's. But I wouldn't say that none of them are the fastest out there as well. Like Timber and Calafiori, they're not slouches, but they're not rapid. So if it is Elanga and Jacob Murphy's not slow, that's probably where you do have the advantage. They're not going to win headers against them, the big lads. It's going at them and getting them beyond. So, Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be Murphy, Walter and Gordon. I'll be pretty shocked if it's not.
Champion. Right. So the next section, and it's everyone's favourite bit, we're going to hand over to Dasmo. Ref Watch. Take it away, Dasmo.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Ref Watch. This time for the game against Arsenal on Sunday. Referee for the game will be Jared Gillett. It's his first game of the season for Newcastle United in the middle of the park. We already saw him once on VAR at Leeds United a few weeks ago. We last saw Jared Gillett when we lost 4-1 at Villa Park back in April. And the last time he visited St James's Park, we beat Nottingham Forest 4-3 all the way back in February. It's his fourth Premier League game of the season so far. Each of his previous 3 games have seen the winning side win whilst keeping a clean sheet. And they've also won those games quite comfortably. So that was a 4-0 City win at Wolves on match day 1. Arsenal's 5-0 win against Leeds on match day 2. And then Spurs' 3-0 win at West Ham on match day 4. VAR for the game will be Darren England.
Thank you, Dasmo. Right, before we get into predictions, just a quick little plug. If you've enjoyed this video, just get down and like the video. If you're not already subscribed or following us, please do and hit the notification bell. And if you want to go a step further, you can become a member. It's $2.99 a month, and you get more content and extra videos and early access to all of our content as well. So we're going to go into the predictions here, and we're going to start with Ben, obviously, because it's just a duo tonight. There's not 4 of us as usual, unfortunately. So, Ben, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a tight game. I think, as I say, both teams need to win. There's a lot of pressure on the game. It's a big game of the week, 4:30 on a Sunday. As you pointed to before, both sets of players don't like each other. Probably both sets of fans don't like each other, and both sets of coaching staff don't like each other. I think it's imperative that none of our players do anything stupid, because we've got a bit of a penchant for doing that, to be fair. But I'm going to go for a tight game. I'm going to go for 2-1 Newcastle. I think we've got their number a little bit. I think the game last night will give everybody a bit of a boost generally as well. And I think there's a lot of pressure on Arsenal, a lot of pressure on Arsenal. I think without Odegaard in the middle of the park, I think they're very industrious, but I'm not sure if we're really good defensively, and I can't see them cutting her open left, right, and centre. How fit Saka, nobody knows. And I think Gyökeres, famous last words here, will probably get replayed. But I think he's probably tailor-made in some ways. I think Dan Burn will be over the moon that he's playing against Gyökeres, because he's old-fashioned, archetypal like number 9, who will go up there and he'll stand against Burn and have a bit of a fight with him. So I think that'll suit us in many ways. I'm looking forward. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest, because I think this game has got big ramifications for both sides potentially for the rest of the season. We don't want to be chasing after this, and we've got a game obviously straight after. But you win that game, we've only lost 1 game all season, and it looks positive. And the same for Arsenal. If we beat Arsenal, which I think, as I said, I think we will do on Sunday, like the talk sport and stuff on Monday morning will be absolutely hammering Arteta. And everybody, the knives will be really out for him. So it's a massive game for them as well. And he can't be coming up here with any form of confidence, because he's got an absolutely terrible record at Newcastle. And he's going to get a lot of grief as well. So, no, I'm going to go 2-1. I wouldn't say I'm massively confident that's the case, just because they're the best defence in the league. And us scoring 2 goals at the moment doesn't really, it hasn't happened as yet this season, has it? I suppose the Liverpool game, but we've not won a game by scoring 2 goals. So, no, I'm going to go 2-1, but in a really tight game.
Who's going to score?
I'm going to go for Joe Linton to continue on, go on a bit of a streak, get a goal just for the Arsenal fans, because they'll absolutely love that when he scores. I'm going to go for Joey, and I'm going to go for Anthony Gordon.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, I think I'm going to echo your prediction of 2-1, actually, because I was thinking that, because we don't score a lot of goals, and neither team concedes that many goals. Yeah. So we've definitely jinxed this. It's going to be 4-4. Make sure you watch it. But I agree with what you're saying about, if we don't win this game, the narrative will be 1 win in 6 to start the season. And it's not that's not a very good stat. I mean, it would only be, maybe 2 losses and 4 draws if we drew it. But yeah, I'm going to go with 2-1. I think Voltemada's going to get in the score sheet, and I can't think of I'm trying to think of another one. Who we're going to give it to? Alanga, because I feel like we've said that he's done a lot of good work, and his numbers would have been a lot better if he'd had some strikers.
I agree with that.
Put the chances in. Yeah, I think it's like the opposite for Murphy. I think he just he'll put the ball in once and he'll get an assist straight away, whereas Alanga seems to be putting in like quite a few balls, and he's not really getting any reward for it. So Alanga and Voltemada, and I mean for them, we'll go with Saka just because he is a good player, to be fair.
No, he's world class, to be fair. He probably is virgin on that world class thing. Just to touch on something, I'd like to say, like what you said there, just about Alanga, and you see stuff. I know X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, it's a bit of a toxic world at the best of times. I think our fans sometimes realise that, like, we just started the season. A lot of these players have come in, like Alanga, who was playing at Forest, playing in a totally different system. Voltemada is coming from a different league. He's a young lad. They're both young lads. Like, we write players off, and I've seen people do it already after 3 or 4 games. Like, wait until at least after Christmas, or when you're starting to get into like springtime, when these players have come in and they're settled. And we all know that Eddie Howe, the system that we play is very different to other people. We've heard every player says how much of a change it is to what they're used to, and there's so many different set patterns of playing stuff to play now. And I think we just expect players to come in and instantly tear teams apart and look brilliant. And it doesn't work like that. Like, this is the biggest move in a lot of these players' careers. Like Alanga, it's a huge move for him. He's coming for big money. And it's the same with Voltemada. There's a lot of pressure on them. The young lads, like, just lay off them a little bit. Just give them back them and make judgments later on. Like, you've got to give players time. If we write players off early doors, it doesn't help them. It doesn't help anybody, to be fair. Yeah.
And I think what we can say about all the signings that, from what we've seen from like clips of, behind the scenes and stuff, they seem like the good lads are integrating well, and it's going to take them time. I mean, and I think a possible that could happen is just to get him in the team is, I'm sure Alanga played on the left quite a lot for Forest as well. So he could play, it could be Alanga and Murphy or Alanga and Gordon, in some instances. And I'd quite like to see that, especially with the pace of, if we had both on both wings, we had like our 2 fastest players. I think that would be really good. But I
wouldn't be against that. Yeah, and you're right, he did play there for Forest, so he definitely could do a job for us. So I wouldn't be against that either.
Yeah, well, I think that's about it for us. The deadly duo. We've tried our best here on the on the preview. Hope you've enjoyed that. Sunday, I'm sure the place will be rocking. And if you go and enjoy it, and if you watch it on the TV, share the lads on. But that's us till the next time. We'll probably have a match reaction to this one. Hopefully it's a winning reaction. And if not, it will be the Monday night show, the Always Smiling Faces podcast with the 4 lads. So right. Thanks, Ben.
Cheers, Nichol.
Thank you. Bye.